Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to be asking the question, should you be pulling for Halloween Lucia? Should you be pulling for her VC? And what is it that these two things are going to bring to your build? Let's go ahead and dig in. This video is sponsored by the Amazon App Store. For those of you that are not familiar, you can support me or other content creators by using Amazon coins and saving yourself money. You can save up to 20% on in-game purchases in War of the Visions. It is very easy to do. You just go to dig.gs/coins. There's a link in the description. I'll have it pinned in the comment. And it is very easy, even if you play on iOS or if you play on Google Chrome at all. Google Chrome, if you play on Google. Sound like a boomer right now. You can easily transfer over. It has all of the instructions here. And you guys, trust me, it's definitely worth it. I would not be promoting it if it weren't. So, Halloween Lucia, her vision card, and her weapon. Are they going to be worth it? Are they any good right now? And I think the answer is yes. And I think she's going to have a very similar power level to actually Halloween Leela, if not more of a power level. To give you just like a quick calculation that I did, just going through kind of adding up everything that she has about 44 defense if you set her defensive passives. That's before equipment. She has potentially AoE resistance 35 before equipment. She has 65 if her counter procs. She has HP about 27%. And that's without an Esper. That's without kind of all of the big things that can make a difference. So she has a ton of tanky potential against physical opponents. That's really going to be her bread and butter, is going to be against physical enemies. Slash resistance isn't really going to help people. What you're really going to need against her is going to be defense penetration. And you are going to need a lot of it because her primary attack ability does lower defense penetration on your units by 30. And that is quite substantial. So you are going to need a way to get through her defense, or you're going to need to bring some type of magical based user. Let's go ahead and take a look at her kit here. She is going to get HP up for Dark Allies, Dark Attack up for Dark Allies, pretty standard. HP 5% and AoE resistance 10 in her Mastery is going to be great. Access to Subjob Black Mage and Thief. She does get Steel Heart and Steel Time, I believe. Let's just double check that. I did see, yep, she gets both. So both of them are going to be very powerful. Taking a look at her stats, she is going to come in with 5% slash resistance, 10% pierce resistance, 5% weakness to striking, and 15% resistance to missile. So her big weakness is going to be striking and magic. However, you think about units like Snow that don't have a ton of defense penetration, and Snow, while he may be able to deal a good damage hit, is probably not going to be able to force his way through Protect and through a 7,500 HP barrier, let alone her own defense. Now, going into her passives, you are most likely going to be setting Abyss of Books, which is defense plus 12, spirit penetration 40. What I love about her kit is she has spirit penetration 40. Usually you see more than 40 spirit penetration on really relevant mages nowadays. But if you go to her equipment, her book actually gives her some really nice modifications. So it does give her magic attack resistance penetration 20, which is great. It also gives her magic attack 15, defense debuff resistance 50 for self, and increases Man-Eater with magic attacks for self by 10. So she's going to have that magic penetration. She's going to have that spirit penetration. She's going to be able to actually kind of push through and deal some damage no matter what. Now, she does have access to the Black Mage passive, Knowledge of the Black Mage, which is magic 30%, magic attack 12. Some of these are a little bit different because remember, Black Mage is a modified job. So are some of the other jobs. I believe Thief is as well on her sub jobs. So some of these secondary masteries are going to be different on the global side. You're most likely, I can imagine, either going to be setting her secondary Grimoire Master for HP 12%, magic 24%, or you're going to be going for Thief's Knowledge for movement 1, agility 12%. Now, her counter is really cool. It is called Hide and Resist, so it's a 30% chance to proc. It's going to give decreased chance of being targeted by 1 for self. And then it's going to increase AoE resistance 40 for 1 turn at the start of the turn. So I do believe this will give you the AoE 40 resistance before potentially your opponent attacks. I'm not 100% sure, but it is sounding very delicious. In terms of her primary kit, break word, you're most likely not going to be using this at all. It's going to be 13 AP, 141% modifier, decreases attack 39%, magic 39%. I could see an attack break being useful in terms of mitigating the damage that she's going to take. However, you're more likely to be using her defense penetration lowering ability that she does have further down. It's also wider reaching and a higher modifier. Now, Blue Protect is an interesting ability here. Grants decrease AP 5 to 20x for 3 turns if the target has Protect on. So it is a TP based buff, of course, and it is going to lower your AP, it seems like, over the course of a couple of turns. So it sounds like it's almost a drain. This is not necessarily the passive I would want to use. It's going to grant Protect for yourself, and then it's also going to give you an additional defense debuff resistance 50 if you do have Protect on. So it basically ensures you're not going to lose any of your defense and that you're going to get Protect. And I think most of the time, if you are setting increased movement on her, you're probably going to turn this off and you're probably going to focus on Spell Fortress, which we'll talk about here in just a second. And if you are using a secondary ability, you'll probably use Halloween Ryryu's TMR, I would imagine, assuming she can equip it. She does have a 100% hit ability, which does not have the highest range. It is 165% modifier with reduced counter chance 100. Her upgraded primary attacking ability is 185% modifier, huge diamond range attack, decreases defense penetration 30 for the targets that it hits, and then when the enemy is killed, it does cast CT up on her. So very powerful, very good, particularly in PvE. I do wonder, you know, when I'm talking about this unit as both PvE and PvP capable, she is very powerful. Spell Fortress, which we talked about here, is the 7,500 HP shield for herself. It's going to increase AoE resistance 15. It's going to increase defense 15 for allies, and it's going to give the AoE resistance to allies. Overall, this is just going to be an incredible buff. You're going to want her to get this off, and you're going to want to pair this with, again, like Zombie Ryryu's TMR or something else. Finally, we do have the Misery Toad ability. Now, I think people are going to somewhat knock this. It's a 200% modifier, 25% chance to inflict Toad for 3 turns. I think this is incredibly powerful in PvP. A lot of you guys remember my MR playthrough in Arena, where I actually relied on Mage to cast Toad, and it works a lot of the time. A lot of the time, you are, like, very few enemies have Toad resistance. So the fact that this is going to deal damage and have a chance to Toad, this could absolutely just end the fight right there. So 100% excited for this. Going to be a lot of fun. Now, one thing that I really love about her kit from a PvE perspective is that she does have a Curaga, and it is a Curaga based on her proximity. So it is based around her, which is not as good, but the fact that she has a heal in her secondary kit is really nice. It means you don't have to set a TMR. I believe it's Summer Elena's TMR, or Summer Elsorel's TMR that does the heal. You don't have to set that. You don't have to worry about setting a heal if you do need one. You're always going to have access to one if you do set Grimoire Master as sub. Similarly, her secondary attack ability, Book of Confucius, has a chance to confuse. It's a cross-shaped attack, 185% modifier. This is also a very powerful attack. So she has a whole suite of both damage dealing abilities, defense penetration lowering, survivability, status ailments. The only thing that's really going to stand up to her is going to be an opponent mage. Now, her sub kit in Black Mage does have Drain. It does have Flare, which is great. Very thematic that she does have access to Drain. Again, gonna make her even a little bit more powerful in PvE if you do go sub Black Mage. Sub Thief, Steel Time, and Steel Heart are fantastic. And then we have her LB, which is when casting another skill, it's going to launch another follow-up attack, very similar to Noctis or Astrius. It has plus 30% hit chance, absorb 30% of the damage done, 200% modifier. I mean, it's just overall Cheshire. Oh my God, he's like trying to hit my power button right now. It's just overall really great. I think she's going to be really good. She's potentially a cost 70. She is a cost 70 unit, right? So she's very low cost. She's almost guaranteed because if we get the same banner as on JP, it is a 9-step, which is going to guarantee her, which is crazy. It's a low amount of Visior to get a very powerful unit. And then you look at her VC as well, and her VC gives 7 defense. That is a ton of defense. Gives magic 153, magic 10%, AoE resistance 5, HP 272, gets access to a triple attack magic attack, which is going to lower single target resistance by 30, which can be casted 2 times, multi-hit, just overall fantastic. The party effects are a little bit worrisome just because it does give magic attack killer basically, and it does give strike resistance for only specific job equipping units, which is okay. It's not amazing. Same with single hit resistance. You may find this VC being subbed in other places, or when you need more of a chaining capability than you actually need anything else. But I think it is going to be very similar to Triple Trick, right? Where you need to get this because it is a 3-hit magic attack, which you can put on almost any magic user in the game, which makes them capable of elemental chaining. And nowadays, you don't need to weapon and element chain in order to hit cap damage. You can just element chain, which means you can literally just put together a formation of dark units. As long as they have multi-hit abilities, they're going to be fantastic. And most mages do not have multi-hit abilities. So very powerful, and I think you do want to get this VC. I think this VC is almost as important as she is as a unit. Anyway, everybody, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Make sure you use my Amazon coin affiliate link, and I will catch you guys all later.